Hey guys, so I've been doing a little mini series on loving yourself, and this time around I wanted to first of all remind you that loving yourself in the kingdom is very different than what the world thinks. According to the world, loving yourself looks like following your heart and doing what feels right, and loving yourself in the kingdom actually is pretty different. It means doing what's best for you, even when it costs you, and living in your God given design and purpose. And sometimes that's not always easy, and sometimes it doesn't always feel good, but it's actually the best thing that you could do for yourself and for Jesus. And I heard someone say the other day that loving Jesus always wants what's best for Jesus. And I've realized that what's best for Jesus is me, Janae, being her real God-designed self. I don't want to try to be anybody else. I don't want to compare. I don't want to compete. I just want to be me. And that is what is best for Jesus in his kingdom and just the health of the bride of Christ. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about the idea of self-care. And a lot of times people associate just loving yourself with self-care, but I actually think that self-care is just a part of it. It's just a small part, but it's very important. And I heard someone say about a couple years ago, which really rocked my world, is the kingdom of God is one of work, rest, and play. And if one of those areas in your life is a little off, typically it's going to result in some unhealth. And so I want to talk about the ideas of work, rest, and play. And first of all, work, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this or encountered this, but one of the quickest ways for someone to lead into depression or isolation is to actually take work out of their life. So, a lot of people find such a sense of purpose in their work, and sometimes that can be unhealthy because they find their identity in it. But that is actually a healthy thing. Even if you look back in the Garden of Eden, before sin entered into the world, before Adam even sinned, he was given a role to tend to the land and to give the animals names. And there was all these things that God actually assigned Adam that was blessed. It wasn't a curse. And work was a beautiful thing. And it was never meant to be this thing that was taxing and laboring on a person. It was actually meant to be enjoyed with God. And I've just seen so many people, when they take work out of their life, they actually end up depressed. And it's because God actually designed you to work. And so I'd encourage you, if work is no longer a part of your life, and for whatever reason, maybe you're on disability, or maybe there are all these reasons why, or even maybe you lost your job. There are all these reasons why maybe work is no longer a part of your life. I'd encourage you to start intentionally doing things. Maybe volunteer somewhere. Maybe clean your house and see it as work. See it as something that gives you a sense of purpose. Okay, so we talked about work, and now rest. Rest, it's very important to acknowledge that rest and play are different. Sometimes you can do the same exact thing and it would be play, and other times it could be rest. So sometimes those do fit in the same category, but I actually think it's important to separate the two and acknowledge that they can be very different. So for me, genuine rest means sitting on my porch in silence with the Lord in his presence, taking some deep breaths in, some deep breaths out, and just sitting and being with him. That is where I'm able to just set the default back in me, back to a state of peace and joy when I'm in the presence of the Lord. Rest also involves sleep. Sleep is a part of it. Sleep is not, there's so much more that you can do in resting beyond sleep, but sleep is very, very important. Another way that I find rest is going to the beach and just laying there and listening to the ocean waves. So rest is extremely important, and I think a lot of people consider rest to be going on a cruise. And I'm like, I don't know if I would call that rest. I would call that play, though, and play is also important. I've met with a lot of people over the years here at the Inheritance House and previously the Glendon House, where I sit down and I ask people, I'm like, how do you play? What do you do for fun? And there are so many people that genuinely cannot answer that question because there's nothing they think of that they do that's fun. other than sit and watch TV. And I'd encourage you, like, if play is no longer a part of your life, ask yourself, what did I used to do when I was a kid? For me, playing, sometimes it actually involves me going to a park and getting on a swing and just swinging there. And there's something that happens in me where I feel like a kid again. Or riding my bike. For me, that is such a sense of play where I can go and do this. I'm not doing it for anybody else, where I'm actually having fun on my bike. I can laugh. I don't know, I get kind of weird on my bike. I'm like all of a sudden turn into like this 7-year-old little girl. But I love it. And so work, rest, and play. It's important to have all three of those in your life. I'd actually encourage you to have all three of those in your life on a daily or weekly basis. Preferably daily, but some people genuinely cannot incorporate play into their life every day. That's okay. Just make sure that you're getting it on a weekly basis. So, bless you guys. It's okay to take care of yourself. That is fully permitted. It's not selfish. The best version of you is the version of you that is getting those areas and those needs in your life met. So, bless you.